Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I need some snippet clusters, so I have pulled out all of my small pieces and leftovers from my latest journal making. So let's use up some scraps and some small pieces of textile and laces and make something fun. Just going to move these away so we have a bit of space to work on. So I mostly start with paper when I do my clusters, just because it's simple, so then I can use up some other small scraps later on. So this is a piece of file folder. It's nice with something sturdy to begin with. They don't need to be big. You are going to glue on top of them and they won't be seen. They will be covered up, so don't take anything nice. Some small one and some bigger one. A bit different in size. So let's use up these. I have about 7 to 10 layers on my clusters. So you need a couple of different things to, and when you put them on, try to put them on different places. So when you put let's say kind of one like this, then you take the next one and put it so part of this one is seen, and then the next one and the next one. So every time you put a new layer, you will be able to see the layer under that. So when they are done, you should be able to see all the layers except this one to start with. Does that make sense in my thinking? You can of course do as many layers as you want, but that's my way of thinking when I do my clusters, in case someone would like to know why I do a certain way. So the first layer will be another paper, and then we will go for some thin lace or maybe cheesecloth. So let's start with some different papers. These are embossed original old book papers. So we are going to cover these, but later on we will see every part of this. So I'm beginning with putting them as wide as I can, and then working through and against the middle. I'm going to sew this later on, so I don't glue them perfect in any way. I just put on the glue and put on some papers. If you don't want to sew, then you can just be a bit more precise when you glue, so that you are sure it will stay in place. And I put them in different directions. Some of them is torn like this with the script like that, and some this way. So I can put them on standing or lying down. Layer number 1 is done on each of these. So then we are going for something kind of textile-y. Some lace and some cheesecloth. Oops. Sometimes I just use different kind of papers, and another time I use only textile, and so on. So it's not always I do it exactly like this, but this is one way to work. So now we have put paper and textile, and we are going to go with paper again. And if you want to add color, it's totally up to you. That's okay. Just play and have fun. You can do them with straight lines. You can do them with just like this, torn, and Sometimes I even use my cutter and do round ones. That's also cute. I try to not overdo it, overthink it. I'm just putting it down and it will be more not so precise. Let it be random, and the only thing I'm thinking about is that I try to leave every layer so it will be seen somewhere. And the journal I working in is vintage old antique stuff, so I'm going for brown and blue, but you can of course use whatever color you like, or theme maybe. I have flowers as theme sometimes. Then I'm using everything with flowers on. Textile with flowers and paper with flowers, and sometimes I end it up with a dried flower. That paper was so boring, so I'm thinking I take another one. So now we have another layer of paper on all of them. So then let's go back to another layer with textile. And I am still using thin textiles. I don't want them to be too thick and bulky yet. So let's go with some thin laces. Maybe some linen. It has been really cold here in Sweden this weekend. We had minus 22 degrees Celsius. So I have been carrying wood for my fireplace. It feels like all weekend. But now I think it has lowered the temperature until just minus 12 at the moment, so it's getting better. I'm lucky that I have Nico that is not afraid of the cold. He can be outside and play when it's really, really cold. So that's nice. Don't have to think about that. This one needs another one. And this one is left. And that one. This one had just 2 layers. We have forgot that one. So need some papers. And another lace. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. So now we can go for the more heavy pieces of textile. Some thicker pieces of lace. It's perfect to use up your scraps with these cluster pieces. It can never be wrong. More or less big, maybe we could say, but it's it may look a bit odd to when you begin, but in the end it almost is nice how you do it and how you put it on. It turns out nice in the end. I always forgot one or two when I'm working with these, so in the end I'm find myself putting on different things in not in the random order, or sometimes I work with just one at a time. But this is more fun to do many of them like this. So I'm going with some numbers and text pieces. And this is so small, so maybe we can use a little bit of this, so we don't cover too much. There we go. Now they have a paper with some print on each and every one. So let's move over to the decorations, as we is going to have them last a few layers. I want a bit of gold on these, so I'm going just to use my glue stick and put on just a little bit of glue on the papers. Not much. Just a little bit somewhere on the paper piece. Then I'm taking my foil and just do like this. If you do it right away like this, you won't get so much. I don't want it to be a lot of gold, just a little shimmer. If you leave the glue to dry more, it will stay more gold on it. That hadn't any glue at all. Maybe I did it over there. Can take it on that part. You need to dry a little bit but not too much. Now you can see that we have the shimmer, but not overdoing it. And then how many layers do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 or 9, I think. So one final decoration on top of all of this. But before I do that, I want to sew these because it will be a bit bulky when I put on maybe some of these bling or the roses or something like that. I have some of these pieces we can use, so I want to sew them before we put on any stones or something that will ruin my needle on the machine. So I will be back in a second. I'm sewing them always all in one, so I'm not stopping between them. That's easy and fast. So we have 10 pieces that are ready for some final decorations. And you can use buttons, you can use pearls, you can use small kind of roses like this, and you can use pieces of bling. And sometimes I don't use anything kind of shiny. I'm not a shiny girl, but sometimes I want to have at least something that's a bit extra. I'm going for blue and white, blue and brown and white and green maybe, we could say. Cutting the pieces into as small as I want them. Maybe some of these too. These pieces can sometimes be hard to part, and you get small pieces of shiny things all over. almost too small. Take that away so it won't fall off later on. I'm holding it a little bit when I put it on the lace. It's more difficult to get it to get stuck on the textile piece. Have one more white rose left. Let's put them over this big one. That could need two pieces of something cute. And one green rose. Let's use them up. Can't decide. This one. So let's take these and let them dry, and then I'm going to do a couple of others also while we have our scraps in front of us. I will give you some close-up with pictures also by the end of the recording, so you can see them with photos instead of me moving it around so you can't see it properly. So a few more, and this time I'm going to do some small ones, and I'm going to use my quilt. I have some of these quilt pieces. They are actually pink on the other side, but I want them white this time. So we are going to use this side. I'm going to cut off a small piece of this, so we are going to use that as decorations, flowers and leaves. And I also have this white one with some pearls on it. Try to cut so I won't lose any pearls. They are often sewn together, so it's not so easy to not get pearls all over. There we go. I want a few linen pieces too on some of them, just to get some variations. Maybe some darker roses. Some other small lace pieces. Okay. So let's start gluing down some layers. I want to make sure that the quilt is seen, so it won't be as many layers on this one as on the papers. Let go of my finger. Just some pieces of cheesecloth to begin with. I have glue all over. They will follow me. And some lace piece. I want this to be a bit kind of romantic and light. What do you think? Do I pull this off? I won't. Something like that. No, too dark. I do not want that. That. And then we are going to use some needles, my rusty needles, and finish them off with that. So I'm thinking I'm going to use these rusty needles. And put them through the textile and put on the lace. Something like that on one. Then I have these belly needles. See if we can get that. Get that through. As they are rusty, they are a bit tough to get through the textile. They aren't so shiny. Oops. Don't go anywhere. So let's see if we can get this through. And the lace pieces. Crumble them together a bit. And then down with the needle and back out. So we have one more. Should we put a antique button on that one? I think I want that one. Put those back in the bag so I won't lose them. I'm not sure that was... I think I need to take the button first, if I can get it out and back out again. These are also a bit rusted, so they are difficult to get through the textile. No, that went the wrong way. That's better. We have it the right way. See if we can get them all on this little can I have. I will take some close-ups on these two so you can see them in the end of the recording with photos. This was the clusters I wanted to show you. So I hope you got some inspiration and can make your own. You can use old jewelry as I did on this one. This is from some old brooch, I think. And this is a Tim Holtz dangle bling thing. And of course buttons and some rusty needles. It's always cute with the rustiness. I'm thinking that it's maybe time for another giveaway. So the first one that can tell the name of my Etsy shop and write it in the description box will get 5 of my clusters, and I will send them to you wherever you live. in the world. So the name of my Etsy shop, and the first one that is typing that in the description box under this recording will get 5 of my snippet clusters. Not these ones, I have other ones, so you will get 5 different ones, so they won't all be the same, look the same. Some big ones and some small ones, and some textiles and some papers. So that will be a surprise, but you will get 5 of those. And I hope you will use them in your journals. So thank you for watching, and I will be back tomorrow. So until then, bye bye from Sweden.